Hello and welcome back to the Bearded Dentist. Today we have a quick premolar prep. The beginning of this, my camera, the iPad basically died halfway through, so I wasn't able to get the initial removal of caries and build up. But I've shown that before in other videos. I wanted to show a premolar prep because premolars are a little bit different. Sometimes they can be tough for newer dentists to kind of tackle simply because of the amount of contour or how bulky they are in between the teeth interproximally, which is where I'm at right now. So, at least when I was in dental school and when I was starting out, I was always very slow to remove a lot from in between the teeth. And it made my preps take a really, really long time. And it's just a very cumbersome, and you're just kind of going and feathering, taking a little bit away, a sliver of a millimeter, sliver of a millimeter. So, in this video, I just kind of wanted to show like you really just need to power through those contacts. And if you can see right there, the distal of this, I've gone so far into the tooth that I still even have a little lip of enamel there. Well, it's actually build-up material, but that would be pretty much, enamel from the original premolar that would be, butting up against that tooth because these are just so bulky. And, that can, again, make you take a lot of time. Especially these teeth love to get huge cavities that go very far down the side of the root surface. So, don't be afraid to get in there. Take away what's necessary, get down to that margin. Always make sure you're getting down to that margin. Here you'll see a lot of angry gum tissue on the distal or the back side of that tooth towards the left there. And what happens a lot of the times is you get these huge cavities that actually create a void space, a legitimate cavity or a hole there that the gum tissue likes to grow up into, and it gets very angry. It gets very hyperplastic, and all of that hyperplastic gum tissue is worthless, and it's just going to get in the way. It's just going to be irritated. You're not going to be able to get a good margin. Just remove it. That gum tissue will grow back. It'll settle where it's supposed to be. You'll notice I do leave a little bit of the papilla in between the teeth, and that's always good. You don't want to totally blow out these papillas either, but if you leave a good little sliver of papilla there, then what I've found with me with my preps is that if you have a good margin, no overhang, you get all the cement out of there and everything, that gum tissue is going to grow back just fine, and it's going to settle in a good place. A lot of dentists, especially young dentists, are worried about the biological width, which is how close that margin is to the bone level of the tooth, the crest height of the bone. I found that that is more of an issue with PFMs or something where you're putting porcelain over that tooth, and porcelain's not so super nice to the gum tissue or the biological width area. But if you're doing zirconia or a nice polished lithium disilicate or gold, a good quality gold, you can get real close to that biological width. And again, it'll just settle down over time. Or you can just remove some height of the crest of that bone with your burr. There's no need to, most of the time. There are cases where, getting a specialist involved or doing a quote unquote proper crown lengthening procedure is required. But in a case like this, to stop halfway through and send the patient to a periodontist to have them do all that's you're just wasting their time, and really the return on investment there is for me not worth it, because like I said, you leave that papilla there, you get that good clean margin, good clean healthy tissue, and it'll settle where it's supposed to settle over time. Here I'm checking the bite, and then what I do run into a lot of times is, these premolars, these bicuspids are very the height of those cusps is quite a bit higher than the central portion of the tooth. So even though I did have a really good clearance there, I still wanted to kind of bore out the center of that tooth and give it some anatomy. they say you don't really have to do anatomy when you're doing, CEREC or what have you, but I still always like to because that just gives the lab a little bit more to work with. I've found that if you follow the contour of the teeth, even just a little bit, it really helps keep down sensitivity and failure over time. So thanks for watching my video. Real quick one for you guys. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. Please comment, if you didn't like what you saw or if you have anything to add. Thank you so much. Have a great day.